to SVG-TV News for Tuesday, January 28, 2025. I'm Jennifer Richardson with the details. Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves has announced that 26% of the 2025 capital budget for St. Vincent and the Grenadines will be dedicated to climate change and resilience building efforts. Speaking on WFM's Issue at Hand program on Sunday, the Prime Minister emphasized the government's awareness of the urgent need to address the impacts, vulnerabilities, and challenges facing the nation following repeated natural disasters. He said a total of $200 million has been allocated for this purpose, which includes $14 million from the contingency fund.
2025 budget has over $200 million. Which is a number knocking your head up, around 27-28% of the capital budget. Well, nearly one-third of nearly 30% of the capital budget. It's a big number. But in addition to those numbers, I just want to give some others so persons would appreciate. The World Bank estimates that the loss and damage from Beryl is 875 million EC. The loss and damage from La Soufrière is 635 million and 40 million from Hurricane Elsa. Our internal estimates are about 15% higher. But even if you take those numbers together, it means that with these three natural disasters, Soufrière, Elsa and Beryl, that's $1.6 billion in loss and damage since 2021, which is more than half of the value of our entire national economy, which at the moment is close to $3.1 billion.
Dr. Gonsalves also referred to the World Bank's Country Climate and Development Report, which paints a bleak picture for small island developing states, SIDS, like St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He noted that the report forecast a grim medium-term impact for 4 SIDS, including St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which is deeply worrying.
According to this document, St. Vincent and the Grenadines will lose 41% of its sandy beaches over the next 25 years. Funding minimum necessary adaptation through borrowings will increase our debt to GDP ratio by over 15 percentage points higher than the baseline scenarios. Let's picture that, colleagues. Our country will lose on an average, I'm still referencing this report by the World Bank, 3% of GDP per year due to floods and experience over $4 million annually in coastal damage.
The Prime Minister highlighted that aside from increased borrowing that is anticipated due to climate change, the report also points to significant challenges in development. He noted that the cost of climate-related development issues could exceed $3 billion for the country over the next 15 years.
The total cost of implementing a limited core set of investments for physical infrastructure to build resilience to extreme hazards in St. Vincent and the Grenadines would be between $2 billion and $3 billion over the next 15 years. Then additional capital stock beyond this limited core of public sector infrastructure would increase the cost by a further $1.8 billion over the same period, the same 15-year period.
One of the key projects aimed at addressing these concerns is the $17.2 million allocation for the ongoing protection of the Sandy Bay and Windward coastlines. This project, which will continue this year, is focused on safeguarding these vulnerable areas from the damaging effects of sea erosion. Several commodities are expected to become more affordable for consumers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, one of which is chicken. Speaking about the importation of chicken, Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves revealed that just over a week ago, the country began importing chicken from Brazil. He explained that this new import would be 20% cheaper than what was previously being sold.
Part of the good news which I heard about 10 days ago from Saboto, you know, we have given permission, and I'm talking the state, to bring your chicken from other sources, and to tell everybody they can go. For instance, the people who are bringing in chicken now from Brazil, and Joel, you probably know about that.
Yes, yes, I do.
It's between 15 to 20% cheaper than the sources from which we have been getting it usually.
The Prime Minister added that his government is exploring various ways to further reduce the high cost of living in the country, and that he is hopeful that consumers will benefit from the reduced cost of chicken locally and that it will bring some relief.
Well, once that is reflected in the price in the supermarket, and I've been told the quality is a very good quality chicken, in fact better than that which we have been having before. And this is one area. And over the longer haul, on the fiscal side, we have to, and we do have, a frame for keeping the debt, keeping the public debt at manageable levels over the medium term. And we have as the aspiration to have it in the region of 60% by 2035.
Additionally, the government has announced plans to support vulnerable groups within the population to cushion the impact of the rising cost of living. These measures are aimed at helping those who are most affected by economic pressures. A handing over ceremony was held today in which the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, through the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, officially received humanitarian supplies and equipment donated by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Delivering the welcome address at the ceremony, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, Cuthbert Knights, expressed gratitude for the generous donation. He emphasized that the medical supplies and equipment would play a vital role in strengthening the island's healthcare system and improving the lives of countless individuals across the country.
Truly, you'll agree with me. This is a milestone in our shared mission to provide quality healthcare for all. These supplies will certainly touch lives, heal communities, and reinforce our resilience as a nation as we embrace the spirit of global solidarity that make such impactful change possible. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is no stranger to humanitarian aid, and indeed they are a very valuable partner of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in terms of their generosity. And today's event is a testimony of their unwavering support. And I hasten to say not only to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but to other nearby OECS countries. The provision of these essential medical equipment and supplies will significantly bolster our healthcare facilities, ensuring that our frontline workers have the necessary tools to practice efficiently and timely care, particularly those most in need and vulnerable areas. As we are all aware, healthcare knows no boundaries, and neither does generosity. And as such, we would love to, and we should also acknowledge and commend this collaborative effort of all of the stakeholders involved in making this initiative possible.
Providing an overview of the collaborative efforts, Director of Health Security in the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, Donna Joyette Bascom, highlighted the humanitarian crisis triggered by Hurricane Beryl, which struck St. Vincent and the Grenadines on July 1, 2024. The storm displaced thousands of residents, particularly from the southern Grenadines.
The medical team in Myro must be recognized for going above and beyond after the storm to take care of the injured, ill, and infirmed, even while affected themselves. The health team in Kanawan for staying the course and answering the calls, also even while being affected. The team in Union Island was phenomenal. The health team on Union Island had injured staff who continued to work in makeshift clinics, taking care of the medical needs of the community, even as they too had no living quarters and operated under the elements until assistance arrived. What also is noteworthy is at this juncture is the fact that the health sector had worked with NEMO to ensure that all their satellite warehouses had a quantity of medical supplies. But even further, they had at the time a big red tent, which they were able to put up and put to use 2 days following impact. To the medical teams, I say a heartfelt thank you. Healthcare workers are indeed a special breed.
Joette Bascom also took the opportunity to commend the efforts of her team in the Health Security Unit, acknowledging their role in maintaining healthcare services in the wake of the disaster.
We often work behind the scenes, long hard hours. We weathered the storm on our office floor and remained there for a week following Hurricane Beryl in the dark with no water, with Minister, CMO, and PS to ensure that healthcare workers had prompt assistance, that they had reassurance that help would come, that there were supplies to continue the provisions of healthcare services, and sometimes just someone to talk to. We worked 24/7 for almost 2 months, leaving our own families and some of us with damaged homes ourselves to ensure that staff had an avenue and a channel for assistance. Well done, Health Security. I know sometimes you feel unseen, unheard, and unappreciated. But look at what the Lord and your efforts have done. Reducing risk across the health spectrum, that's what we do. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center heard our plea and answered. I appreciate you and know that you're excited for this donation, as it will greatly improve our mitigation efforts, our preparedness and our response efforts, and will enhance capacity and training in health across other sectors.
Director of the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, Michelle Forbes, has expressed gratitude and satisfaction with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia's decision to provide vital support to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The assistance was drawn from a list of needs identified in the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl.
Sectors generate those needs lists. Sometimes we push you a bit, but now we see the fruits of our efforts and labor. After 6 months from Hurricane Beryl, we are seeing that we have a large donation here today. So following the sharing of those needs lists, we were then of course notified that they would zero in on the health sector. And we were not jealous, because we are all partners, we are all stakeholders. Every emergency, there is a health emergency. Many persons don't realize that. And it was really a happy time for us, knowing that the needs of the Ministry of Health and the health sector, wider health sector, would be addressed.
Forbes further thanked the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the $2.5 million donation, highlighting the collaborative effort that made the donation possible.
Most of the items are from the Ministry of Health, but as we work together, we have a wide range of items that will be going across the national sector, not just for the Ministry of Health. And that is, again, is our collaboration with Mrs. Bascom and her team. It would be, I must say thanks to Khalif. Khalif has been working with us over the last few months, and a lot of our messages, and ensuring that the ceremony today was going to be a success. So as a stakeholder, I know I'm listed as a stakeholder. Our collaboration go wide and beyond, even to the stage where all of the health personnel, I said to Mrs. Bascom, we have to do something for the health personnel, in particular in Union Island it was. And because I felt they felt so dejected. Everybody else got to stay home except the health workers after emergency. In Union Island, as Mrs. Bascom said, one house is practically almost destroyed. I remember looking in particular for Sister Jones' house, because we work in Union Island for quite some time. And I needed to see what happened to Sister Jones, even though I did not see her. And I wanted to ensure that I drove through that area so I can actually understand what was going on. And I reached out to Mrs. Bascom and I said, what can we do for the persons in Union Island? And that's when we took the first set of appliances were really targeting the health personnel in Union Island. So it's a constant collaboration, it's a constant effort. And I want to assure you that as a NEMO representative, as a director of NEMO, that partnership will continue, as we are seeing manifest here today.
His Excellency Abdullah Mohammed Al Hassani, Ambassador of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, also spoke at the ceremony. He emphasized the humanitarian purpose behind the aid, noting that it is aimed at providing relief in the most urgent areas with the goal of strengthening the ties that unite both countries. Ambassador Al Hassani said that it is their hope that the support will help improve the quality of life for the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Kingdom has managed, based on its humanitarian and pioneering role towards the international community, recognizing the importance of the influential role in alleviating the suffering of human beings in order to live a dignified life with values based on high humanitarian goals, to provide anywhere in the world aid to those in need and relief to the distressed through precise tracking mechanisms and swift transportation methods. The project and programs carried out aim to diversify, adapt, depending on the beneficiaries and the conditions in which they live. And the aid covers all sectors of relief and humanitarian work. Saudi Charities represent a force of good, a model of emulate to the international, on the international sense, confirming the Kingdom's commitment to the principles of fraternity and its role in disseminating the values of donation and solidarity among people.
Repairs to the Central Water and Sewerage Authority, the CWSA network system in the Copeland Mountains, Rose Hall, were completed last week. However, CWSA reports that a second landslide occurred this morning, January 28, 2025, detaching another section of the pipeline. As a result of the disruption to the network, residents in the affected areas will once again be without water supply. The CWSA has assured the public that workmen have already commenced repairs to restore water service as soon as possible. The company in a statement apologized to residents for any inconvenience caused and said it will continue to provide updates as more information becomes available. On Sunday, Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves mentioned on radio that a construction company which was in the process of carrying out roadworks in the farmlands area lost material in the landslide. Additionally, 2 weeks ago, a pipeline broke in Hermitage, further disrupting the water supply to residents in North Leeward. With cycling gaining increasing popularity in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Station Sergeant Kenny Jones of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force is urging cyclists to exercise caution while on the nation's roads. His comments came during the Police on the Beat program last evening, where he stressed the importance of road safety for all users.
Pedal cyclists in particular, the law is very clear in respect of some of the things that they're supposed to do. And we speak about them ensuring that they always wear a protective helmet. But first and foremost, we must establish that it has to be a mutual respect between motorists and the pedal cyclists. Right? We're not as large as some other countries where you have a bicycle lane. Understand me? So we want the general public to understand that everyone has a right to use the road. Everyone has a right to ensure that they are safe and to put whatever measures in place that they need to put in place to ensure that their safety is our topmost priority. So it is a collaborative effort between the motorists, the cyclists, and the general public and our stakeholders as a whole.
With the rise in cycling as both a sport and recreational activity, the increased number of cyclists on the roads has raised concerns about road safety. Sergeant Jones pointed out that cyclists are often the most vulnerable road users, given their exposure and lack of protection compared to motor vehicles.
They don't have the protection that a motorist have while driving their motor vehicle.
That's true.
So, I mean, the littlest clip or the littlest touch you get, you're likely to result in a collision or fall to the ground and sustain serious injury. So I think that is a deterrent for a lot of persons who might want to take the chance and ride in a pedal bike. Just like the motorbike, some people say, I will never ride a motorbike because of what what is possible or likely possible to happen in terms of them falling and sustaining serious injuries. So I think that is one of the challenges, and as the other guest said, under the law, by right, every pedal cycle should be registered. They're supposed to pay a fee. Every pedal cyclist under the Traffic Act supposed to also carry a plate.
Really?
Right? Yes. It's supposed to carry a plate bearing the legend B and a number as they are registered. Understand? So I'm of the view that some persons might feel that because a pedal cycle do not pay a license or insurance, right? Or they don't pay any fee at all, that they don't have any right to be on the road. Understand me? But as
Shimano Bailey, president of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Cycling Union, who was also part of the discussion, echoed Station Sergeant Jones's sentiments, noting that safety is the primary goal of the cycling union.
In 2023, we started a safety campaign where we, in collaboration with the Olympic Committee, which sponsored the equipment for safety gear, we distributed helmets and other safety equipment throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We started in the Barley area, went to the Central Area Secondary School, then we went to the Georgetown Secondary School, and we distributed some in Calico and Annansville, and also in Beckway as well. And this was one of the things is that you would see somebody riding a bicycle and they have their helmet on, but it's not clipped. So that's one of the things that we were sharing with them, that yes, you may have your helmet, but you're not clipping it on, so it's not
still vulnerable.
Yes, and I always share most of the times when I talk about helmets is when I used to race. I remember falling and landing on my helmet, hitting the helmet, got back up, continued racing. It's not until after the race I realized my helmet actually was broken. So that impact would have, if I didn't have on the helmet, that impact would have been on my head. And safety is very important for us.
As cycling continues to grow in popularity, both law enforcement and cycling organizations stress the importance of cooperation and responsible behavior from all road users to keep the streets of St. Vincent and the Grenadines safe. The Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force, the SVG-TV, says it remains steadfast in its mission to combat crime, with the latest operation resulting in the arrest of 2 Chateaubriand residents and the seizure of an unlicensed firearm, a large quantity of cannabis, and a significant sum of cash suspected to be linked to drug trafficking and money laundering. A news release from the SVG-TV states that on Sunday, January 26, 2025, officers executed a search warrant at a property in Chateaubriand, leading to the arrest of Desroy Samuel, 37, and Kimon Samuel, 35, both of Chaps, Chateaubriand. During the search, officers recovered a 12-gauge shotgun, which was later confirmed to be functional, and 26,786 grams of cannabis. Additionally, Desroy Samuel was charged with possession of a separate 454 grams of cannabis. The officers also seized a total of 27,657 Eastern Caribbean dollars, which included 9,500 EC and 6 €8,700, suspected to be the proceeds of illicit activity. Both men have since been charged with possession of an unlicensed firearm, drug trafficking, possession of controlled drugs, and money laundering. The Financial Intelligence Unit, the FIU, has been engaged to further investigate the source of the cash. The RSVGPF emphasized its continued resolve to combat illegal drugs and firearms, but also acknowledged that St. Vincent and the Grenadines has a legal framework under the Medicinal Cannabis Industry Act of 2018. This act allows individuals to cultivate and supply cannabis for medicinal purposes under a regulated system. The release said that this act provides a legitimate pathway for Vincentians to obtain licenses for legal cannabis cultivation, distribution, and research under the oversight of the Medicinal Cannabis Authority, and encourages those interested in this growing industry to follow the legal route rather than engage in illegal activities that could result in severe fines or imprisonment. Both accused men appeared before the Serious Offences Court on Tuesday, January 28, 2025. Desiree Samuel pleaded guilty to possession of a controlled drug, 454 grams, and was granted bail at $15,000 EC with one surety. His bail conditions include reporting to the Chateaubelair police station every Monday between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m., surrendering all travel documents, and stop notices placed at all ports of entry and exit. The matter was adjourned to February 25, 2025. Desiree Samuel and Kimon Samuel both pleaded not guilty to possession of a controlled drug, 26,786 grams, and possession of an unlicensed firearm. They were each granted bail at $15,000 with one surety. Their bail conditions are similar, including reporting to the Chateaubelair police station every Monday between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m., surrendering all travel documents, and stop notices placed at all ports of entry and exit. The matter has been adjourned February 25, 2025. The RSVGPF urges anyone involved in illegal drug cultivation or distribution to explore the legitimate opportunities available through the Medicinal Cannabis Industry Act. The law enforcement agency also encourages members of the public to report any suspicious activities or provide information that could assist in fighting crime.